Hello everyone, it's Bob Butera with Lesson 10, the final class of the summer meditation course. We will have Tuesday and Thursday meditation and yoga nights continuing throughout the year for those who want to keep up the practice. This course we're going to focus on the beginner's mind in this specific lesson where we talk about surrendering. And I wanted to share with you guys the point that Roshi Suzuki, one of the great Zen meditation teachers, shares in his book, Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. The main point of the book, the thesis, is that in the beginner's mind, I'm quoting, in the beginner's mind there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind there are few. That means a very good expert knows that they don't know. It's one of my uncle's favorite lines that he seems to like to tell me, maybe because he thinks I know too much. See, if we know a lot, our mind gets closed. We don't take into account to whom we're speaking or the new situation that we're in. Many of you may not feel like an expert in meditation. You know, you start scratching the surface and you realize how difficult it is for the thoughts of the mind to stop. So we somehow feel humbled by that. But at the same time, it doesn't mean we don't have our bias. Like even the thought, I can't meditate, or I need a lot of work, may or may not be correct. The thought is, I'm discovering meditation. That's the beginner mind. I'm new at this. I've done it for 2 years. I'm new at this. I've done it for 10 years. I'm new. I met a doctor, a member of my yoga class a long time ago. He and his wife invited me for lunch, and they wanted to ask a bunch of questions, he said. Now, I didn't know he was a doctor at the time, and I said, sure. You know, I never asked his profession. We got to know each other throughout the few weeks in the yoga class. We had lunch. He asked a tremendous variety of questions, and I, of course, paused and asked him what was his interest and so forth. And he said, well, he's a doctor, and he wants to see how yoga can help some of his patients. And this was a number of years ago, before yoga was as popular as it is now. There weren't many books on yoga and medicine and as there are now. Well, I was genuinely impressed that here this medical expert was asking me a variety of questions. See, he didn't feel like he knew the answer of his patients. He was what I considered a genuine expert because he knew each situation was unique and he asked questions. So try to keep that open mind. Now, when you have thoughts, we have one exercise for this week. And it's basically accepting those thoughts on the spot, but not thinking about those thoughts. So if you're sitting and meditating, and you think about the grocery store, or whatever other, distraction comes through, you can accept that thought. As soon as you do that, your next thought is acceptance, which grounds you back into whatever the meditation topic was that you started with. So I'd like you to take any meditation technique that you're comfortable with, if you like breathing or mantras or mindfulness or anything that you know. Sit still when you do your practice. Simply accept all the distractions. There's going to be distractions. I like to tell people I've meditated, for 25 years or some pretty long amount of almost consecutive days. And for any day that I missed, I meditated 2 or 3 times. So it's a long time. I still have thoughts. You don't just sit down and lock right in. The key for that veteran is that you can automatically stop the thoughts by accepting them. You're a human being and you have thoughts. It's very normal and natural. So hopefully if there's one major lesson you learned in this course, it's that you can always be a beginner, and that need not stop you from meditating, because there is a shift in your consciousness. No matter how many thought disruptions you may have, there's going to be a shift when you start to meditate. Now, as we go through the class, I'm going to ask you to do a few things for summaries. So instead of doing a new breathing exercise or a new relaxation, I want you to think about how you breathe and observe what you may have learned. like a beginner. Same, we're just applying that beginner's mind principle. And then for relaxation, try to think of how does relaxation actually occur? You know, it's very hard to explain. I can explain ways of relaxing, but I think it's going to really be different for each one of us. So in that same vein, I want you to explore that a little bit. It'll also show you how much you've learned. You know, don't worry if you weren't able to meditate every single day. That's a goal. You certainly did a lot this course, and we're going to keep with it. Obviously, we're all beginners. So we'll hope that you've had a wonderful course, that you might share something you learned, special in your last session. It's always rewarding to hear a jewel that each person took with them from the course. It's been great to be with you this session. I guess have a great rest of the summer.